All right, summer bulk day 15, 16, I'm not entirely sure, but it was back day. Back is one of my favorite body parts to train because there's so much variety of movements you can do. Today I actually trained chest and shoulders. The back recording was from 2 days ago. So by the time this video is up, I'll probably be working on the chest and shoulder video coming up. Yes, there's still no leg day. Just be patient. Trust me, there will be a leg day eventually. So this time I didn't even end up warming up really. I feel like for back, there isn't really much to warm up with. You could do pullovers, you could do rear delts, but I tend to save rear delts for the end of the workout. But it's not like it's not optimal or anything to start with warming up with rear delts or whatever. Like, it's completely fine. If I start with barbell rows, and the heaviest I do is 2.25. Now you'll see again my form. I'm not entirely touching my stomach. I'm kind of just rowing until I physically can't row anymore. It's not like I'm specifically trying to hit my stomach or whatever. I'm literally just pulling the weight for as many reps as possible, trying to keep the form somewhat decent, but obviously it's not going to be perfect. Obviously, I'm training with my friend over here. But after the 2.25 plates, I drop it to 2.10. When you notice that you're becoming weaker as the workout is going on, it's just smart to lower the weight. I don't understand why you'd keep the weight higher. I mean, the only reason you would is if you're doing a drop set after, like let's say you only get like 6 reps, right? Which is pretty low for muscle building. You drop the weight and do a lot more reps just to get more time under tension to make the set more effective. But here I drop it to 2.10. You'll see again, I'm swinging here. I'm just trying to move the weight. You'll see me training a little bit of a different style as I move into the later sets of this exercise. But for the first 2 sets, I'm just moving the weight from point A to point B. That doesn't mean I'm not getting a good contraction. It doesn't mean I'm not getting a good pump, because I still am. And that is the case when you train with heavy weight. A lot of people are afraid that if they just swing the weight around, they're not going to feel it. But that's not the case. If it's heavy enough, if it's hard enough, if you're training to failure, you're going to feel it regardless of your form. Now, there is some efficacy to changing up your form and doing slower reps and feeling the stretch and the squeeze. There is some benefit to that, which is why I add some sets here. But it's not entirely about you always have to feel out the set. You always have to squeeze. You always have to do full range of motion. It doesn't work like that. You look at how most IFBB pros train. They don't tend to train that way most of the time, at least, especially in their off season, which is currently the stage I'm in as I am bulking. Weight was also really high today, or actually yesterday it was the highest it's ever been. I was 197.4 in the morning, which is like crazy for me. Just like a couple weeks ago, I was 193-ish, and I just started bumping up the calories to 4,000, and my weight started exploding. But as you see here with the 2 plates, I end up getting a really good stretch at the bottom. I end up going really slow, and that causes me to get less reps than I usually would get. Now, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it's not even about reps. When you train, we're not counting reps. We're counting how long your muscle is under stress. It's called time under tension. Time under tension is the most important thing for the efficacy of a set, aside from obviously feeling the muscle out throughout the movement. So for these barbell rows, I ended up doing 2 sets with 2 plates, really trying to squeeze, really trying to feel the stretch, and it did feel really good. I only recorded 3 sets, but I did 4. Next is lat pull downs. Lat pull downs are the bread and butter of back width. That's just the way it is. You'll see again, I'm not fully letting my arms stretch. Now, the reason for that is because simply I can't move as much weight when I let my arms fully stretch. And you might be saying, well, you don't need as much weight. But again, for the first few sets of this exercise, I'm going heavy. I'm not focusing on getting the stretch. I'm not focusing on getting the squeeze. And by even just doing that, I get a ridiculous contraction. Sometimes if you switch out the way you're training, if you change the way you train from always being light and always controlling the weight to just moving weight from point A to point B, you will see a great change in your physique, in your strength, in how your muscles feel the next day. That's why once in a while it's good to change up your training style. It's good to incorporate sets where you just move heavy weight versus just moving weight slowly, decreasing weight, and focusing more on the finer details of the movement. Now for lat pull downs, I ended up doing 3 sets with this neutral grip bar that's a little bit wider. And then for the next 2 sets, I moved into like that V grip. Now this V grip, a lot of people think it's like not optimal for some reason, but it does really work my back very well actually. You can see here my training partner tries to keep my back straight, which is in part a way to get your lats more activated, I feel like. But for me, when I swing back, I still feel it really well. This is just a cue that kind of helped me experience the movement in a different way. And who knows, maybe I like that way a lot more. Maybe I'm going to keep more straight of a posture next time I do this exercise. Maybe I'm going to lower the weight next time. It's all up to how the muscles feel. At the end of the day, this is stimulating the muscle. And as long as the muscle is stimulated to what feels like its maximum potential, then you can go ahead and say the workout was good. Doesn't matter what exercises you did. Doesn't matter how you did the exercises, how many reps you did, how many sets you did. The muscle feels like it is on fire, like it has just been hit by a truck. that means you train properly. Obviously not in a bad way, like you don't want your joints feeling like they're about to break into pieces. You want the muscle to feel like it was absolutely destroyed. So we're now 9 sets into the workout, which means if I'm trying to hit like my 11 to 12 range, I have one more exercise of 2 to 3 sets left. And what I ended up doing is this machine row. Now usually I would do something else, maybe like a reach RDL, which is a video on its own, to be quite honest. I actually think that deadlift video would be a great topic to discuss, but here it's just a machine row. You can see like this is towards the end of the workout where my strength is completely just gone. So what I'm doing is really focusing more on the stretch, focusing more on the squeeze, having a much slower tempo, putting the muscle under a different type of stress that is going to lead to a different kind of growth in the muscle, a different kind of stimulus. It's still, for the most part, going to render bigger muscles because that's what we're working. We're working sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. This is a different kind of training, and different kinds of training will cause the muscle to grow more effectively, because if you only do one type of training, your body will get used to recovering from it. So you'll see here, like it's nothing too complicated. This back day isn't like I'm doing any special kind of row. There's so many different kind of exercises for back day, and I tend to usually stick with the bread and butter movements for the first 2 exercises at least, that being a heavy row and a heavy pull down, and then moving into things more specific. Usually I do 4 exercises, but here I only stuck to 3 because I reached the maximum sets that I wanted to reach. The pump felt really good, and so that was that. I also did rear delts, but I didn't record rear delts, unfortunately. I basically just did a reverse pec deck. One thing you want to remember with the reverse pec deck, if I have some footage here of me showing from a different back day, what you want to do is really not try and go any further than behind your back. Like once you get to, I don't know what you'd call it, like your back, like your arm is in line with your back, you wouldn't want to go any further back than that, because you're just going to engage other muscles in your back and not your rear delts, which is what we're trying to engage, right? So if that tends to be what you do, try and change it up. You lose tension in the rear delts by doing that. I think it's just not the best. You can do it, but if you want more rear delts doing the reverse pec deck, it's better not to go all the way back and not to go all the way forward either. But again, like what did I do in this video that was so complicated? It was basically just heavy row, heavy pull down, and the machine. That's pretty much it. That's how you get a big back. That's how my back is currently growing. That's how I'm putting on heavy pounds of muscle, putting on strength, getting juicy, getting succulent. And it's safe to say that the bulk is going well. Expect a chest and shoulder video coming up soon. Potentially a leg video too. Just wait. I'll upload the leg video eventually. But that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And then I'm just going to head out and finish my meals for the day.